Hello, 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 Smart Money Sisters. How are you doing today? Let me check and make sure that I am indeed live. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing? Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are viewing this. I would just welcome you and thank you for joining. If you're catching this on the replay, go ahead and push hashtag replay. Let us know that you are here. One moment here. I am checking. I tried to do this a little different. And so I don't know what it's doing. I don't know if I'm live or not. Am I live, y'all? Somebody comment. Why is it telling me to go get a Facebook update? Are you serious? Listen, I've been waiting for this live to come, and now it's telling me that I need a Facebook update on my app. So that's just crazy. And I was just in my Facebook app. So why is it telling me that? I have no idea. I'm going to hope that. Oh, you know what I can do? I know what I can do. I know what I can do. Okay, yes, it looks like I am live. I'm like, I'm on my computer. Why don't I just go to the other browser that I had open and look and see? So, anyway, plan B, because plan A did not work. Oh, there it is. Look at it. Catching this on the replay, fast forward. Okay, fast forward. Anyway, today, my sisters, we are in the middle of this pandemic. The pandemic is just not over. Just when we thought it was getting better, it starts to get worse. We just don't know where this thing is going to go, where it's going to end up. So we're going to talk about 5 ways that things that you can do right now to prepare for the uncertainty of the coronavirus. So if you haven't been getting prepared, listen up. All right. Hi, my name is Tisha D. Colston, financial coach for women, and I show women how to achieve financial freedom so she can create a life she loves to live. I facilitate natural growth and spiritual growth around money. That's right, MONEY. Tear down those strongholds around money and give you the tools and the resources you need to make, manage, and multiply your money. You can find me on the web at tishadcolston.com. I put in blog content, so go ahead and check for that. My social media, you can find me at Tisha D. Colston, Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. So this week's announcements I have for you now. Monday, we are still in the midst of our 90-day Make Money Moves challenge. I haven't really had any questions about it. What should I do now? Did you fill it out? So I'll be checking in with the group on the first Mondays. And so this one's coming up and answering any questions, any finance questions. This is the time that you have me to answer your finance questions. And so I gave you guys some activations to help you to learn how to talk to God about your finances, about your financial future. And I want to know, how's that working for you? Is it working well? Did you feel uncomfortable? What was that like? Did you hear God respond to you? I want to know. Inbox me comments, things like that, to let me know how that is working for you. And then remember, I do this so that you can have a prosperous financial life. And I believe that there's natural tools that we use, and then with God's help on those natural tools, we can't help but achieve our financial goals. So, all right, let's get into our content today. The coronavirus, COVID-19, it's continuing to spread. It's a pandemic. It depends on which news channel if you watch certain news channels, you will live in fear. Sometimes you got to take that stuff with a grain of salt, but yet do some things to keep yourself protected. People are really gathering themselves together today, they're gathering their essentials together for their homes. We're all on high alert, just wondering how this thing's going to pan out, and it keeps evolving. What's the effects really going to be on our economy, on our jobs? What's going to happen? What's the domino effects of the upcoming months? I mean, when dominoes are kicked, they just start rolling. What are going to be the effects? I think about that, and I think about how you paint a picture with the dominoes. What's that picture going to look like when those dominoes finish tumbling? We don't know. And so, as we need to prepare, right? We're preparing, the schools, we don't know if they're opening. Some are not opening, some are opening. We don't know what that's going to look like. Businesses, are mandatory working from homes that continues. And, honestly, there's been homes that are just really been impacted. We look at the people who have passed away. God, bless them, bless their families, that they've passed away. We have thousands of people that have passed away from COVID-19, and we have thousands of other people that have been impacted in their health. I was watching a news story about a young lady who worked in a meat plant out here in North Carolina, and she had COVID-19. Well, there's gonna be a financial impact to her and her family, especially if you're working in the meat packing plant. You're not making a whole lot of money, right? And you still have families, you still have bills. Right now they've lifted all of the protections that you have. So now you can get evicted from your home, and things like that. My favorite store, Catherine's, well, it's not one of my favorite, but it sells my size. And so they're going out of business. And there's this other store that I like that I only went into one time before this pandemic and bought some stuff out of that store. And they closed their store in the place that I'm going. And now you can only purchase from Catherine's and from, I forget the name of that store. You can only purchase their stuff online. You know what that means? And Catherine's has a lot of stores. They like, if you're a plus size girl, Lane Bryant. They're the sister store to Lane Bryant. And they're usually where there's a Lane Bryant, there's a Catherine. So we all know how many, they put one in every mall, but they closed all of their stores. I got an email last week about that. They're closing all of their stores. All of those women, because those are all women, are now unemployed. So that's the unfortunativity. I like to make up words. Unfortunately, we can't predict how things are going to pan out, but so the one thing that we need to do is prepared. If you're taking on those extra jobs, we have to start to begin to use those funds to prepare for our financial future so that we can be, okay when things happen like COVID-19 or whatever else comes after that. The one thing is for sure in this world. I mean, I believe in the Bible. I believe in Jesus Christ. One thing I know for sure, more of this will continue, and you can be prepared for the more by taking some simple steps. If you could just start with simple steps. So, number one, contact your creditors as soon as possible. If you anticipate the inability to make your monthly credit card payments or whatever payments, it's important for you to open up that line of communication with your creditors because you want to maintain your good standing credit scores or continue to build them. And um, it won't help you if you don't maintain that level of communication with them. So ask for the temporary hardships concessions, right? Like when this thing started, well, my husband put the student loan on forbearance. Well, the government then right after that said everyone is in forbearance. So that was a blessing, but we were already on top of that and put it into forbearance until November. So we're going to see how that pans out in November. Also, Keep priority obligations on track. So let me go back to that one, because when you can put it on forbearance, you can still make payments. It just doesn't impact you if you don't make the payment. So this is why it's key for you to do that, to communicate and see what they have opening, available. I'm sorry, available. I was looking at my hair. Okay, so contact your creditors as soon as possible. Number two, keep priority obligations on track. So, first and foremost, it's important for you to pay your rent and your mortgage. The one thing that they had, and some people's mentality around, oh, my landlord can't evict me, was to not pay rent. And that's not okay. Pay your rent, pay your mortgage. It's your first obligation, because without that, you don't have a roof over your head. Not only that, you are paying to live in that person's place for the upcoming months. You want to be honorable in that. It just amazes me to hear people and their thought process sometimes around money. It's not okay to make bills and not pay them. Okay. So that's a whole mindset issue thing. But if your intention is to not pay your rent or your mortgage because we're in a pandemic and you have the money, let's erase that. Pay it. You're gonna have to pay it anyway. Pay me now or pay me later, right? So if you experience a loss of job or income, make sure to keep that communication open with your mortgager or your landlord, so that they're aware of what is going on. Listen, them landlords, I'm landlord. Landlords need yours to make their mortgage payments or what other obligations that they have. But I've heard people, oh, you're making money off of me. No, listen, wrong mentality. You are paying for a service, and that service just happens to be your dwelling place. Like, no different than you pay for the service to have lights, or, to buy shoes. You're paying for that. So, I'm not saying that's any of you guys, but I'm just exposing some of the thoughts that are out there. We have got to come up in our thinking. Number three, keep priority obligations. I'm sorry, I said that one. Number three, develop an emergency spending budget. This is a much leaner and a much stricter version of your budget. So you pause all your fun budget categories like dining out and extracurricular activities, anything that is more of a want than it is that is of a need, and set a realistic budget for your rent, your utilities, your mortgage, your food, your gas, things like that. Set a realistic budget like that. And then make a list of all of your current obligations and circle the things that are wants, so that you can see how much you could realistically save if you had to pause subscriptions and limit your travel and make affordable meals at home. Okay, because a lot of us as Americans, we spend money. Listen, I don't buy it that we just broke. We spend money. I've seen people don't have money but spend money. You don't have money but you go out to eat on the weekends. You should be saving that money. Right. And not to say that you can't have any fun or things like that, but at the time we're on lockdown, let's not be spending our money on Amazon, okay? Because we just never know how this thing is going to work. You don't know how your job's going to be. My job, 19 years and 11 months is when it was over. I said, yes, 11 months, okay? I had one more month to 20 years in that job, and poof, it was gone. That year, I think it was about February or March, they announced that they were closing, and by June, we were out of there. And so they weren't closing, they were funneling things out, and you had the opportunity to go to other call centers, because I was a call center supervisor. You had an opportunity to go to other call centers, which means a relocation. Now they were doing, and one of the opportunities was out here in North Carolina where I ended up being. So, but I wasn't ready to move then. See, are you ready? I wasn't ready to move because my children were younger and I didn't want to move them from there. They were in high school and I didn't want to move them in high school. I wanted them to have their high school years. So, things come up and you just never know how that's going to go. At the same time, I was getting divorced. So you just never know. You have to be prepared, my sisters, because you just never know. So make that emergency spending budget, make it realistic. The fourth thing, identify community resources and if there are any governmental assistance programs available. Listen, I ain't too proud to ask for your money. Okay, listen, I don't know about you, but I have been on welfare. I have been on WIC. Okay. I remember I told somebody about WIC and they got upset with me. I'm like, I don't even understand this. You don't have the money for your baby's milk and you I just like I don't understand. Like I was on WIC for all four of my kids back then. And I ain't too proud to get on it again. If I needed to do that, I sure would. I would go to DSHS or whatever they call them around here, Department of Human Services, whatever it takes in order to do that. Don't be so proud to fill out that paperwork and identify the governmental assistance programs that are available that before you need them and even now if you do need them. There are options that will continue to help you for healthcare. And then, things like food banks. I don't know if you've had to go to the food bank. Honey, let me tell you something. I done been to the food bank. I done helped the food bank and I done been to the food bank. I've made deposits and I have made withdrawals. Right now, I'm in a deposit season. So God has blessed me to be able to deposit into the bank that we have. I call it the food bank at my church. They go out into the community. And what I can do right now is I can deposit into that. Come on. What are you? Sometimes you make deposits and sometimes you make withdrawals. Don't be too proud because there are things that are available and people that are available to help. And we just thank God for those things that are available. Listen, don't be, you know, don't make your way, like my pastor would say, needless pain. Don't do that. Go apply for WIC if you need it. At least know what the process is because if you have small children, you just never know. Listen, I done got beds, I have gotten Pampers free. I had a service when I had twins, and so I had a service and I worked. So don't think it's, well, if I got a job, I worked, but it wasn't enough of an income. My husband worked, I worked, okay? And so, but we had twins and we had two other children, and so our income just wasn't enough. We had a service where they brought in the cloth Pampers and they picked the Pampers up and cleaned them and brought us new ones. Yes, they were cloth Pampers, but honey, I didn't have to pay for no Pampers. And they even had the bag to put them in. I'm saying you got to do what you got to do. And so I don't know if they still have that program available, but I'm going to tell you there are government assistance programs available. Take a look at them. Right now is the time to start thinking about those things. Not saying that you will have to be in that position because all of the things that we talk about are ways so that you're not in the position, but if you find that you are and you're not sure what to do, I'm telling you now that there's government assistant that is available. Hey, Apostle, nice to see you. Yes, we have the right to work law here. What you say? It got me twice. Both times they walked in and said, "No, you no longer have a job." It just happens. This I call them unfortunate events. I worked for another company right after that, and the Lord told me I was only going to be there a certain amount of time, and I was there for an exact amount of time. But guess what? That portion, why? Because that portion of the business that they hired me for, they lost their contract with someone. And so they weren't getting the calls. It was another call center. I was an assistant call center manager. So I got cut out. I was new man on the block. Bye. right? So he was very nice, though. He was very nice. He was so, so sorry that he had to do that. At least that's what he conveyed to me. I really felt his pain because he was just like, oh my God. And I'm thinking, honey, you don't even know because I don't even like working here. I'm only here because God told me I was going to get this job and how long he had an assignment for me, ladies. Anyway, so yes, Apostle says she had to stop eating out 3 times a week. You got to do what you got to do because you never know how this thing is going to work out. Sis, if you're single, you really need to put your feet to the fire and make sure that you plan your money out. Okay, so identify the community resources that are there, because they are there and they are available even right now in this pandemic season. And then the last thing is reach out. I got off on a tangent, but reach out to a financial coach like myself. The financial coaches are here to help you eliminate your debt. We're here to help you reduce your financial obligations and to hold you accountable for the actions that you said you're going to take. So, according to CNBC, the biggest hurdle that's causing people to live paycheck to paycheck and preventing them from building an emergency savings fund, my sister, is debt. It's debt. Okay. So you got to become debt free. And if you have limited resources, not much in savings account, listen, you're not alone in that bucket either, because 40% of Americans say they don't even have $400 to cover unexpected bills. 40% of Americans don't have the money to cover an unexpected bills. There are so many people that are living paycheck to paycheck that if they miss one paycheck, it's like, there was that saying about, I'm one paycheck away from homelessness, or what was pop something, it was something like that, but one paycheck away. Missing one paycheck could lead you to financial struggle. So before, if you are in that situation, you got to plan. Now's a good time to prioritize and pay down your debt to the best of your ability. I mean, you can only do what you can do, right? So pay down your debt, because interest rates are typically high for like revolving lines of credit. So if you need help to strategize and to figure out the best ways to make it through uncertain financial seasons like the one we are in, to stay healthy and manage your household and not to worry about stress and debt, I'm going to be offering of virtual financial coaching services. Is coming up really soon. So I want you to stay on the lookout for that. And you can also go look at my page at tishadcolston.com. So let's just review. Number one, contact your creditors as soon as possible. Keep your communication open. Number two, keep priority obligations on track. Develop an emergency spending budget is number three. Number four, identify community resources and if there are any governmental assistance programs to help you. And number five, reach out to your professional financial coaches. That's me, can help you virtually to work this thing out. Sis, if you found that this information was valuable, I want you to share it out with your sisters, invite them to our Smart Money Sisters group. That's all I got for you today. Until we meet again inside of Smart Money Sisters, the Lord bless you and the Lord keep you. The Lord make his face to shine upon you, be gracious unto you, turn his face towards you, and give you peace. That's it now.